I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Dusty Dozen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. See you next time.
We found the path. Now, we just had to survive the destination.
Nightfall settles over the canyon. Embers glow. Wind drags dust across the ground like a whisper trying to speak. The silence hit harder than any explosion. It screamed her name.
Lola! Lola, where are you?
Slam was with me. My only comfort. My only hope.
Slim.
I don't see her.
No. No.
Her bandana. My heart sank deeper than any mine shaft.
Lola?
But Slam, he felt something else.
Slim! The map! The energy! It's still here!
A second explosion. Not just collapse, but a tear, a rift, and a direction.
Then she's not gone. She's somewhere else. And we're going to find her.
The trail was faint, but it was there. Like a whisper in the wind, telling us where to go.
It's getting stronger! Slim! The energy signature! It's right ahead!
And then we saw it. Not just a place, but a tear in everything we knew. Ah, a portal.
Slim! Danger! Something else! It followed her!
We weren't the only ones searching. And whatever else had crossed, it wasn't looking for a reunion. Stay behind me, little fella. It didn't have a face, just a hunger. It was made of the same static that took her. Back off!
Slim! The portal is closing! The energy's collapsing!
The door was locking. I had seconds to decide. Stay in the world I knew, or lose her forever.
Hang on tight, kid. We're going in.
Gravity didn't exist in there. Neither did time. It felt like being torn apart and stitched back together with lightning.
Slim! I can't find the floor!
I've got you. Just close your eyes.
We landed hard, and for a second, I thought we'd died and gone to some kind of clockwork maze.
Slim? We aren't in the territory anymore.
We found the path. Now, we just had to survive the destination.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Dusty Dozen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. See you next time.
The transition was more than just physical. It was a fundamental shift in their reality. The desert didn't end. It was overwritten. The transition was more than Slim steps cautiously to the edge of the junk pier, his boots crunching on rusted circuitry as he gazes into the neon abyss below. Slam fumbles with his tiny cowboy hat, his fingers trembling as he jams it back onto his head to hide the lingering sparks on his horns. Slim adjusts the collar of his duster, pulling the worn fabric tight against a cold, synthetic wind that smells of ozone and burnt oil. Slam points a shaky claw toward a passing flying rail car, his eyes widening as he watches the vehicle disappear into the glowing smog. Slim places a steadying hand on Slam's shoulder, turning his back on the desert sun for the last time as they both step toward the city's flickering lights.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Dusty Dozen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. See you next time.
Descending from the heights, the scale of the city begins to crush the spirit. The air grows thick with the hum of a million machines, and the shadows here are deeper than any canyon in the old world. Slim grips the vibrating handrail, his eyes scanning the dizzying drop as the stairs groan under the weight of 1,000 years of rust. Slam pulls his hat low, shrinking behind Slim's duster as they merge into a crowd of strangers who look more like machines than men. Slam reaches for a glimmer of something familiar, only for the world to stutter beneath his touch. A reminder that here, even the light is a lie. Slim freezes as the city's eyes finally find them, his reflection caught in the screen that brands them as targets before they've even spoken a word. With the hunt beginning before the first sunrise, Slim realizes the only way to survive the light is to disappear into the dark.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Dusty Dozen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. See you next time.
Down in the forgotten veins of the city, the hum of the world above becomes a distant drone. Here, metal groans, water drips, and the only light comes from the ghosts of discarded tech. The cramped darkness offered a fleeting escape, but every turn brought the metallic taste of confinement, a cage within a cage. Below the city's veneer, a forgotten world stretched out, a labyrinth of dead ends and echoing passages. This was where the city's heart had stopped beating, long ago. Amongst the decay, a ghost of the past, a sign, a whisper of a time when these depths held something more than just discarded dreams. But even in the deepest shadows, the hunter's footsteps grew closer, a rhythmic clang against the metal, a promise that their short respite was over. A fleeting shadow, a silent threat. The city had sent its best, a hunter whose resolve was as unyielding as the metal around them.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Dusty Dozen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. See you next time.
Trust is a rare currency in the Undercity. Most folks would sell their soul for a clean filter and a dry place to sleep. But Slim and Slam are looking for something rarer, a way out. The old corral wasn't just a bar. It was a sanctuary for those the city had chewed up and spit out. A place where names were optional and pasts were best left at the door. Greasy Pete knew the plumbing of the city better than the architects did. If there was a ghost path to the surface, he was the one to chart it. Information isn't free. In the Undercity, you trade what you have for what you need. And right now, Slim was trading their only leverage for a chance at a clean horizon. The path was laid bare, a jagged line through the gut of the machine. It was a suicide run, but for the outliers, it was the only road home. But the hunter doesn't wait for the map to finish. Lola had found the hole in the wall, and she brought the city's wrath with her.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Dusty Dozen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. See you next time.
Every cage has a ceiling. Most folks spend their lives looking at the bars. But for Slim and Slam, the bars are just a ladder to the truth. The higher you go, the thinner the air gets, and the thicker the trouble. The city doesn't like losing its property. A ghost in the machine. All this time, they weren't running from a hunter. They were running from a signal. The real Lola was never even in the room.
Don't look so disappointed, Slim. The view from the top is much better when you know who's watching.
A voice from the clouds, a map to a ghost. The trail didn't end here, it just got a whole lot longer. One last push, one last breath of recycled air. Beyond that door lies everything they ever dreamed of, and everything they should be afraid of. The Undercity was a prison, but the surface is a frontier. And somewhere in those mountains Lola is waiting for her guests.
I hope you have enjoyed these episodes of The Dusty Dozen. Join us for the next season.